3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition. Liftoff. 30 minutes after the end.
I grew up in Kingston, Ontario. It's right on the Lake Ontario and the Rideau Canal and the St. Lawrence River, so it's a very boat-friendly town, so we spend a lot of time out on the water. We were a pretty active family. Someone was always doing something, some activity. My parents made it a big focus of us traveling as a family, really saw how other people live, so my parents wanted us to understand that we're very lucky in where we are. And they also just wanted to instill, like, the world is so much bigger than just Canada, you know, like there's a whole other world out there that they wanted us to see and understand everyone from all over the world. When I was in high school and trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life, I was very academically focused. As a 16-year-old, I thought I wanted to be a marine biologist. And the most important thing when I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do is I knew I wanted something that could take me around the world. So I wanted something that was sciencey, but also I could travel and be outside. So when I first applied to universities, I applied for marine biology because I've always loved being on the water. So I decided to go down that track. And then I got halfway into that degree and I started taking like genetics and organic chemistry. And I realized I wasn't the life science-y kind of person, but I still love the sciences. So I decided to pause and figure out what else I could do. I always have loved history and trying to understand the world as well as science, so I looked into geology. And then in the summer, I changed my major to geology, and then I took my first courses in the coming fall. And the first course I took was an introduction to geology course, and I just absolutely fell in love with it. The professor that I had, she was just excellent. Her goal was to get a lot of more women into geology because it's not many women in the field. And she just had such a great way of explaining the geologic processes and what is going on that she just kind of opened up my eyes to geology because we never had anything like this in high school. After I took her class, I decided that geology was for me. I spent a lot of time in Idaho and California doing like actual hands-on geology and what I would do in my career. So I really liked that hands-on approach as well with the program. When I graduated my undergrad, I applied for a master's program, so I moved out west to do my master's, and it was about 2.5 to 3 years long. And then in that time, I knew I wanted to study volcanoes. Well, I worked on a volcano in eastern Oregon trying to understand the history of the eruption, the geochemistry and the stratigraphy and all this kind of stuff. And then once I finished that, I decided I wanted to move home to Canada. A lot of geology jobs in Canada are mining. So I applied to a bunch of mining jobs, and I ended up getting one here at Impala. So there's different types of geologists in the mining industries. I'm on the exploration side, so going out into the field and trying to find new deposit. Either it's bush crashing and you're looking for outcrops and you're taking samples, or you're sampling the trees to see how they have absorbed whatever commodity you're looking for. I look at a lot of drill core. So right now a lot of our core comes from underground drilling, but we also have a surface program. And so essentially we're just looking at the drill core to see the rock type, if we're seeing the minerals that host our commodity, so palladium, looking at any structures, so faults or dikes or veins within the rocks that could maybe give us an idea of how the palladium is hosted or how it can have constraints on where it is in the deposit. And then after we get the core logged, we send it to the guys in the cut shack and they cut it, and then it gets sent out to a lab. And then we receive the results back, and then we get to make 3D models on 3D modeling software to build our shapes and to get an idea of the actual size of our deposit. If you didn't know where the deposit was, you wouldn't be able to have a mine. So essentially, exploration needs to go in first and kind of get an idea of where it can be, how big it is, if it's even valuable, if it's worth spending all this money to have a big production like this to mine it out. And then it's also valuable because we keep exploring. We continue to go deeper in the mine to see if the deposit continues, or we go on surface to see if it extends out further from the actual main deposit. 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. I love the schedule. It's worth it because at the end you get 2 weeks off, and I like to spend the time traveling. I work from 6:15 a.m. to 6:15 p.m. and then I usually come back to camp after work. Camp life has really been created to help us feel like we're home away from home. Have the gym, we have the social house, we have the nice kitchen that we can sit in and chat with, not even our own crew, but other people at the mine. It's just a really nice way to not just be at work. It's a way to kind of get your mind off of work and not just be in your room or at your workplace. There's many places on the site at camp that you can go to kind of wind down and relax at the end of your long shift. There's many other careers you can take, whether it's being an underground miner, driving heavy equipment, being a haul truck driver, being a driller, working at admin as an engineer or a short range planner. There's so many different avenues you can take in mining. As our population grows worldwide, our demand for more products that require minerals and metals are expanding. So being in this career as the industry is expanding and growing, it's kind of nice to see where it will go. Our day-to-day work, it feels like, why are we doing this? Like it's the same repetitive thing. But when you start to see the product that's running through the mill and being shipped out of here, and you know that that's going to be used in a catalytic converter or jewelry or whatever else palladium gets melted into, it's really nice to see that, okay, our job is purpose-driven. There is a need for us to be looking at rocks all day. There is a need for us to be blasting it out of the ground. I'm excited to see where the mining industry goes. I'm excited to see where I go within the mining industry. I'm excited to see if I get to go work in other parts of Canada. Honestly, I believe the possibilities are endless in the mining industry because you can go anywhere. So there's really just so many possibilities that I'm excited to learn in my career.